Hi, Glenn. I use your jingle as an opportunity to go to law school. I went to the Evelyn Wood Law School. I'm ready. Hello.
Evelyn Wood, speed reading. I love it.
Right.
Good morning, sir. A good week on par for justice, correct?
Yeah, we're moving in the right direction, Steph. We're getting there.
I mean, we just read Trump's latest 3 a.m. insane rant against Judge Chutkan. I mean, how much of this is she going to put up with? I mean, this is obviously exactly what she said not to do. Go ahead.
It seems like she might feel like he's trying to goad her into doing something that will give him a greater opportunity to cry victim, and she's not going to fall for it. I think the rule of law should assert itself, and he should be detained pending trial. But apparently no judge is of that opinion yet.
So let's talk about, obviously, let's go to Fani Willis for a second. So in a new filing release yesterday, she punched back at Mark Meadows, who's trying to get his charges in the Georgia racketeering case moved to federal court. So talk to us about that. That's getting a little too much in the legal weeds for me. And you're the best at breaking this down for us.
Yeah, so I'll try to break it down to its bare bones. He's trying to get his prosecution moved from state court to federal court, claiming that, well, some of what I did was part of the official duties of a chief of staff. It wasn't, but here's the thing. It doesn't really matter whether his case is tried in state court or federal court. The evidence of his guilt is overwhelming. The evidence of guilt comes from his own written communications, among other things, and he will be held accountable. In which court almost doesn't matter as much as the fact that he'll be held accountable. I happen to think Judge Steve Jones, who's presiding over this transfer hearing, is going to say, you know what, 99% of what you did was not covered by your official duties as chief of staff. So we're just going to go ahead and leave your case in state court. But if he goes the other way, don't despair. He'll be convicted in federal court.
Okay. Because obviously if they get to federal court, the point is going to be he's going to try to have it just dismissed in general on whatever executive nonsense, immunity, something.
But it won't be because the judge just issued an order saying, listen, I would like the parties, the prosecution and the defense, to answer this question for me. What if just one of the things he did was within the scope of his official duties, but everything else he did was not? What does that mean for whether I should transfer his case? But the signal he's sending is that if he transfers the case, he's not going to dismiss it because most of what Meadows did was not within the scope of his official duties.
Yeah. And does the crime fraud exception come in here? Because, again, doesn't none of that matter if it's in the commission of a crime?
Well, the crime fraud exception is more about the attorney-client relationship. And that is not at play when it comes to Mark Meadows as chief of staff for Donald Trump.
Okay. So much criming, so much legal
Very
stuff
difficult.
to remember. Evelyn Wood skipped some things. She was in such a hurry when she was teaching me law school. You tweeted, it's pretty clear DA Fani Willis doesn't even own a pair of kid gloves. She tells the judge she's ready to try all 19 RICO co-defendants together in October, as you've been discussing. So talk to us about what that means. And then, obviously some want to sever it. And she obviously there's more of an interest in her doing it all together. But tell us how you think that's going to shake out.
Yeah, so I just wrote a piece for MSNBC Daily. It went up the other day. I try to break down this severance thing. Severance simply means defendants file motions saying, hey, judge, I want you to pull me out of the big case and give me my own trial. So right now, the judge hasn't ruled on any severance motions, but here's what he has done, which is like a kissing cousin to severance. He has granted Cheese Bros request for a speedy trial. So what does that do? It sort of naturally pulls him out of the big case, and it puts him in for trial in October. Sidney Powell has also filed a motion for a speedy trial. So that's not really a severance thing. That's just these two defendants saying, we want to go to trial right now. Now, listen, that kind of screws over the other defendants. You know why? Because when those other defendants are yelling and screaming about, I need more time, Judge McAfee can say, well, wait a minute. Cheesebro and Powell are going to trial in October. In fact, they demanded that. They can be ready. Why can't you? And Fani Willis has said, you're darn right. I want to do all 19 defendants in October. There's going to be a lot of legal motions filed, a lot of legal wrangling before all the dust settles. But you're going to have a batch going early, and then you're probably going to have a couple of batches of co-defendants going a little bit later.
Okay. And so obviously yesterday the Trump pled not guilty in Fulton County, and the judge said the trial will be televised and live streamed. That's a sharp departure from the other cases regarding Trump. Cameras are not permitted in federal courtrooms, I guess, as you know. But this, I think, is really good news, because we keep talking about how do we ever get back to one set of facts in this country, right? We were just talking about even Bill Clinton. At least everybody, we had one set of facts. You could say how you felt about him being impeached or not, but we knew there was one set of facts, right? So talk to us about that.
So it's so important that the Georgia trial will be televised, because if it wasn't, you know what you would have? You would have all these defense attorneys rushing to the cameras at the end of the day, and they may misrepresent what happened in court. They may say, oh my God, the government's evidence fell apart. The prosecution is crashing and burning, proving it's a witch hunt. And here's the thing. The prosecutors can't step to the cameras and say one single word. We're not permitted to. So it would be a one-sided fight in the court of public opinion. But now, if we can all see it with our own eyes, it will tamp down the opportunity for that kind of propaganda and disinformation from the defense. And then the next battle is we've got to get cameras into the federal court.
Yeah. Glenn, isn't that the beautiful piece of this for you, probably as a federal prosecutor, is exactly what Giuliani, Trump, all these people are doing, going on shows and opening their yap. It's just, it is running up against that. You can't do that in a court of law. You can't go down on the, Rudy just keeps doubling and tripling down on lying. What was he on, Jody? Where is this? Hang on. Give me 10. This is on, I don't know, some radio show.
Yeah.
Here's Giuliani.
Yes, I'm going back.
I didn't knock on her door.
You didn't knock on her door.
I interpreted what I saw on a tape. I still interpret it that way. I mean, there's no doubt they were screwing around.
And you're allowed to do that in America. You're allowed to be suspicious.
An opinion is not covered under libel. The case should be thrown out because it's based on opinion. If we had anything close to there's no way to describe this judge as fair. You can't possibly describe this judge as anything other than an over-the-top Biden acolyte who has put people in jail for ridiculously terrible periods of time for merely committing trespass.
I will say he sounds sober for the first time in
he
quite
did
some
sound
time.
a little sober.
You tweeted, Judge rules Rudy Giuliani is liable for defaming Georgia election workers Shea Moss and Ruby Freeman. The question now is, how much will the jury order Rudy to pay the two women in compensatory and punitive damages? So they've already ruled he defamed them, and here he is repeating these. What happens from this? Him repeating these lies again yesterday.
It's kind of like the situation Trump found himself in after E. Jean Carroll mopped the floor with Donald Trump in the trial. The jury found that he sexually battered and defamed E. Jean Carroll. He went out and did it again, and she sued him again, and she's going to get more money from him. This is Rudy Giuliani following Donald Trump's playbook. And here's the thing, Steph. The judge found that Rudy Giuliani defamed Shea Moss and Ruby Freeman because Rudy put it in writing. He admitted that I lied about and defamed them. Come on now.